Okay, well, welcome everybody to today's Talk with Doc. Um, it is my honor to have Jocelyn Ramos Campbell, great friend, here with us today. And today we are talking on social media and how you can use that to promote your ministry and, more importantly, grow your ministry. A lot of great resources that honestly many of us just are not using. So with that, Jocelyn, thank you so much for being with us. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Doc, for having me on. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. Well, my name is Jocelyn Ramos Campbell. I am a mother, wife, I'm Latina. I am a speaker, public speaker. I am a special needs pastor, and I am a disability ministry leader. And one of the things that I have been doing over the last 10 years actually is also being a digital marketing strategist, public relations consultant. My background professionally is actually in public relations and communications. One of the things that I had done previously, I say the hats, like many women know, like you wear many different hats, and one of the hats before kids and after kids. So before kids, my life before kids was that I was a public relations consultant and spokesperson for the federal government in Washington, D.C. for over a decade. And once I became a mother and had twins, and I have 4 boys, then I started focusing on doing marketing and business relations for companies and brands for myself. And so that really kind of also parlayed into, like many mothers know, when you are faced with a situation, and parents, they understand this, you dive right in. So when my son was diagnosed with autism, you're something that's very out of control. You feel like this is something you're not aware of. So you want to know, knowledge is power. So you want to get into that and know about that. So that's what really led to, I've always worked in ministry all my life. And it really my heart was really for caring for special needs families and children with disabilities. And so that's where we're kind of at today, is combining those two things: my love for my family, my love for my community, my love for special needs families, and my professional background of communications and public relations, and seeing how we can help bridge the two of them.
Yeah, love it. And you're now in the Orlando area, right?
Yes, I'm right outside of Disney. So I'm in Central Florida in a town called Claremont, and I am a special needs pastor at Hope International Church in Groveland, Florida.
Yes, awesome,
Yes.
awesome. And so any families that are down in the Orlando area, or if you ever go down to Disney on vacation, make sure you check their church out.
Yes, we would
And all
love
the
to
great
have you.
stuff that they are doing there. So
Yeah, buddy
let's
break and everything. So we
That's
love.
right. That's awesome. Well, real quick, just some housekeeping.
Mhm.
Anyone who's on Zoom watching with us, if you've got questions for us today, you can put them in the chat or in the Q&A. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, put them in the comment section. I'm watching that here, and so we'll be bringing those in. So please ask questions as you go. But let's just jump right into it. There's just so many varieties of social media, and it's overwhelming for some
Yes.
people. But we need to learn how to figure it out. And one of the things you had shared with me, kind of amazing, uh, was it 42% of the world's population is actually using social media today?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. 42% of the population, which means grandma, parents, kids, everybody's using
Yeah.
social media. And it's not something, before, when we thought of traditional media, when we would think of newspapers or television commercials, but now social media and digital media has made it accessible to everyone. Even people that are in remote places have access to a computer, have a cell phone. So that has brought the media right into your hands. So now this is a communication tool that not only spreads your message to your local community, but now to a vast audience that can see you throughout the whole state, throughout the whole country, and actually globally as well.
Yeah, yeah. So that's amazing. So it is a amazing communication tool, and the important thing, it's free.
It's
So
free.
we are crazy if we don't use it. So
Right.
you've got several points that we had kind of talked about that you want to make sure we hit on.
Mhm.
First one is how can we know our congregation and know our community when we're hitting with social media? I know that's one of the most important points we need to know. We need to know our audience.
That is so very important when you have a disability ministry or a church. You have to know who your audience is. So it is not just the people that come to your church that are coming to the four walls, within the four walls of your church. You want to know who your community is. You want to know who you are speaking to so that you can create content that is relevant to them, so that you can create content that is going to connect with your community. You want to create content that is fine, that when they look at it is something that is helpful to them. You want to become a resource for your community. So when people are thinking of looking at a church, yes, they want to know, for example, or a disability ministry. Of course, they want to know what you believe in. They want to know what activities you have. When are your sermon times? What dates are you doing certain things? Those are all very important things that definitely need to be on social media on a rotating basis. But other things as well, like if there's something in the community that's going on that's for special needs families, or there's something for school that is important, that's where they should be finding that information. It should be on your page. It should be on your Facebook. It should be on Instagram, Twitter. Right now, all of these communication tools are accessible for all of us to use for free. And you have to remember that when you're creating content for your audience, there are going to be people that go to Instagram that never go to Facebook. There are going to be people that are on Facebook that never go to Instagram. So you want to make sure that you are creating content for everyone. So you're posting it up on all of these platforms so that you're reaching your community right where they're at.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you just said there is so important, all the platforms. Because we've got so many people using different platforms.
Yes.
So we need to make sure we use all of them, and we can't think, oh, I'm just comfortable with Facebook, so I'll just use what I know. There are so many others. We've got Instagram, Twitter, and also there's others out there that we got to remember. So because we want to reach as many people as possible,
Right.
and so that's the important thing there to do it.
Mhm.
But what are I'm assuming Facebook is still the most popular
Yes.
platform that's out there.
Yes, Facebook is still king when it comes to that, as much as Instagram and Twitter don't like to hear that. But Facebook is still king. It's still one of the most popular digital platforms, and their user base is a wide demographic. So you still do have the majority are men and women. They are people that are past the age of 20. So you're getting the parents, you're getting the grandparents. This is, a lot of the users who are on there. For those that are skewing towards a younger generation, you're going to be finding them on Instagram. You're going to be finding them on Twitter or Snapchat or TikTok. Of course, now that's blown up during the pandemic time as well. So that's why you have to customize your message a little bit to where you're posting. But you want to be posting on all platforms. And the information you want to have on there is something that is accessible to your community. So if your community is having a community fair day, if you know of a special needs school that's opening up in your area or that is accepting applications, your disability ministry pages should be sharing that information. It might not be something that is exactly to do with your church, but it's information that is relevant to your community and to your audience. So you want your pages to be known as a resource page. So when families are looking for information, they know that they can come to your pages and find that local information that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think we got some slides. Do you want to bring those up now, or do you want to wait?
Yeah.
Okay, let me share the screen here. All right, I think I've got them up now. You see them there? All right.
Yes.
So, this is our social media 101, right?
Yes. So this is just kind of a breakdown of what Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is, and in Facebook, as we said, it's still the largest social network, and it's where you can write a lot of content. So there, we all know on Facebook, you can write a novel if you want on your post. You can do stories, you can do postings, you can do videos, this is where a lot of the users are at. So this is where, as a ministry, you want to be posting pictures, you want to be posting videos, you want to be sharing information about your local community. This is where you can do Facebook Live videos. You can engage in content that is engaging with your community. So there's a lot of resources on Facebook that you can be using to connect with your audience. Twitter, and if this is going to probably date me a little bit, but if you remember back in the 90s, the beepers, as I always remember it, there was just a limited amount of characters that you can put in a beeper. So Twitter is like that. It's a micro blogging platform is the way I look at it in social networking, because it's only a certain amount of characters, and characters means like every space. So not words, it's like and the space. So everything that you're using on there is counted as a space. But this is where you can also connect a lot with other disability leaders. A lot of disability leaders, churches are on there, representatives, where you can get kind of like an instant messenger, kind of an instant connection with them. So you could put here on Twitter would be a great place to put a picture and say, for more information, go to and put a link back to your website or back to your Facebook page or wherever it is that is your most updated content. One of the things that you want to make sure on any of these platforms is that you are creating content that is updated frequently. You don't want to go to a page and see that it hasn't been updated in 6 months. That's not what you want to perceive. So you want to make sure that whether it's your website that you want to have traction to, an audience going to your website, or if you don't have a website and you just have a Facebook page, which is absolutely fine as well. If you don't have a website, you can connect with social media only, because actually on SEO, when you look on Google, the first thing you see before even a website is the social media pages. It's what comes up. So if you just have a social media page and that's what you want people to go to, then you link that on Twitter. You can also do videos. You can also do pictures. You can also do, links on Twitter as well. But Twitter, it really is a micro platform. So it's a limited amount of characters, not like Facebook where you can write a lot. And then Instagram started out as really just a photo sharing. People were doing a lot of filters and really pretty pictures, but now it's really become a really photo and video sharing app. They have now started with, if you want to go to the next one of the slides, say it on there too, and we'll see that in a few minutes. Instagram has now even started Instagram TV, where you can do a longer video. So it's kind of like you can even categorize them into episodes. You can categorize them into series. So Instagram, where you can do hashtags. So Instagram has really become now very popular with, of course, the younger generation. They use the hashtags and they're all searchable. So that has now become another platform that rivals actually, in Facebook and Twitter, but their demographic is very different. Whereas Facebook, you will find a more mature audience, people that are mothers and fathers and grandparents. You will find that Instagram, there's a lot of, adults on Instagram too, but it does skew more towards the younger side. YouTube, of course, we know is, if you got kids, well, they're watching YouTube. You could just say that they're watching YouTube. They're watching all the videos and all of that on YouTube. But YouTube also is a great place for you to have your ministry videos. If you're doing how-to videos for your disability ministry or for your church, that's sermon videos, any of those things. It's great to upload those on there, send them to the families later on. They can watch them at their leisure. So YouTube is great for that. And, that's one thing, you can see it on TV on YouTube. So YouTube is one of those places that you can just watch them anywhere. And it has the demographic of YouTube, of course, is, everywhere. It's like 18 to 34 and 18 to 49 is the key demographics. And of course, there's Snapchat, which is like a story that disappears. You put it up there and it disappears within 24 hours. So that is the difference. Whereas YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, unless you press delete, it will stay up there forever. In Snapchat, it will delete itself within 24 hours. And that is definitely, I would say, the young people's game. Snapchat is. It is where you will find those that are younger than 18 up to 24 on there. They're always snapping. They're always sending each other snaps. And it's really great, especially if you are looking for a youth ministry. Youth ministries use that a lot, Snapchat, to connect with their constituents and their congregation that are in the youth market. So and you can create your own story. stories. So that's another way that you can connect with those that are in your community as well.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to remind people too, remember before you put up individuals' pictures and things with that, you need to have their consent to do that.
Yes.
Uh, so that's an important thing to remember. And it's, one thing I always did in my ministry, we had a picture consent that we had everyone sign.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's very
we'll throw
important.
it out
And
there.
on all, actually, in all churches, I always recommend that you have a social media policy, and especially for the children's ministry, that all parents need to be able to sign off saying if they consent to their children being in photographs or in videos that are going to be posted on social media, and actually for the adults as well, because
Yes.
you will, and some people forget, they're like, well, kids, yeah, that we understand, for the adults, because there's some adults that cannot be photographed in religious settings because of their job. There's some that work in law enforcement, they cannot be pictures. So you have to have those kind of social media guidelines and policies, procedures in place. And that is actually something that I usually recommend to churches to have in their welcome packets if they become new members, to sign off if yes or no, if they agree to be included in social media pictures and videos.
Right. And then, the other thing along with that too is, just reminding everyone that, whenever I put up a picture, I love putting a watermark on it with my
Mm-hmm.
logo. That way, whenever it's shared or done anything else, and I may be getting ahead of us here, so apologize there, Justin.
It's
But
okay.
what I like doing that so that whenever it's shared, everyone's going to know that's part of our ministry and that's us.
Mm-hmm.
That so because again with social media, you want people to share it
Yes.
with it. So we talked about these, and I know there's another one I haven't quite jumped into it yet, and I'm starting to hear people talk about it, and that's TikTok. I don't know if you've
TikTok.
done much
Mm-hmm.
with that. I haven't figured out
Mm-hmm.
quite yet how you can do that with ministry, but I know some churches are starting to do that, and that's more video based.
That's
Real,
definitely
real short video.
very short videos, definitely video based. A lot of things, one of the things that is nice about TikTok is that you can do the green screen on behind. So people are using that as quick lesson formats, as far as for ministry and for teaching. You can put in like the subject matter behind you, and you can be talking. So you can actually teach a very quick lesson while having, what the subject matter is behind you, and you can switch it out. So it's almost like a little mini PowerPoint on TikTok when you're using it for a teaching capacity. So there is tools that you could do for TikTok. And the nice thing about TikTok is that you can share that as well on Facebook and Twitter and to the other social media platforms as well,
Great.
and save it.
Now I know there are certain times and even certain days that
Mm-hmm.
are better for posting.
Yes.
Can you share some of that with us? And also, my understanding is that's also changed a little bit with COVID.
Yes.
Maybe you can kind of touch on that for us.
Yes. So one of the first things that you want to do is when you set up your pages that you want to look on your insights. You want to know when your congregation or when your audience is online. So when you look at your insight pages, you can see where your fans, where your people who have liked your page, when they're usually online. It gives you a breakdown of the days, of the time. So that's the first thing I always recommend to everyone, to make sure you look at your insights. And there's an insights on Twitter, there's insights on Instagram. So you can really find and really fine tune when you should be the ideal time to post, even based upon your local audience and your local congregation that are connecting with you online. But there is recommended times based upon the stats. Now, one of the things that you might have heard about throughout these last couple of years, and especially this last year with everyone being at home, is that Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they all have algorithms. So they all show you like, this is if you put a hashtag on this, it'll show up better on this feed. Or if you do this, if you put this picture this way, it'll show better up on the feed. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of measure what is the best time to post. But there is some guidelines that Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter have really looked at their own stats and said, this is what we think are the best times to post in general for them. So one of the times that Facebook has said, which I thought was like, this is a little bit different than it was a couple of years ago, and it's because of the pandemic, because people are home now. So one of the things is that On Facebook, checking in midday updates throughout the week is happening a lot more often than it was a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, it was always, okay, they do it in the morning and the evenings. That's it. Nobody's checking in midday because they're at work and all that. Well, guess what happened? Because of the pandemic, people are at home. People are working from home. Their lunchtime is still at their house, so now people are checking social media throughout the whole day versus just being at the morning time before work and when they got after work. So that is something that has completely changed now because of the pandemic. One of the things on Instagram, the best days are Wednesdays, they say, to post, and the worst day is Sunday, because people are taking, especially the Instagram influencers, they're taking a lot of pictures on Sundays and they kind of upload them, Sunday evening or Monday. So they're not really engaging on Sundays. So they say the worst days are Sundays, and Wednesdays happen to be one of the best days. For Twitter, they said the best day to post on Twitter are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, while Saturday sees the less engagement. Once again, it's a weekend day and people are out and about, so they're posting on other days.
Yeah, that's great. Very helpful. And then, the other thing I'd say along with that is, they used to say, don't post more than just a couple times a week, but now thanks to COVID, you can actually do more. And the other thing too, there are programs out there where you don't have to post on every single one of these sites at once. So, for instance, with our organization, we use a company called Loomly, LOOMLY.com. It's very affordable, and oh my gosh, it's so helpful. We just go one place and we can post on every single social media channel we have and do it all at once. You can schedule it.
Yes.
And it makes life so easy. So, people out there listening, don't feel like you're going to sit here and, oh my gosh, I can't handle multiple channels. You can still just do one by using these programs to help manage everything. So,
yes, absolutely.
Remember that.
Yes, absolutely. That's cross-pollination. You're posting the same content more than once on different channels, and you can use like you said, Loomly, Hootsuite is another one. You can use that. It's just go to one software system like the ones we just mentioned, and you will connect your different pages on there, so your different social media profiles, and you will schedule it so that it will all go out at once. So it will post to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for you all at once, and you're just making one posting that is getting now posted to different places.
All right. I think I'm a little behind on my slides here. I think
it's okay. But this is Facebook Live. I mean, we're doing it right now. So
that's right.
That's right. So this is Facebook Live, but this is obviously a great way to connect. If you have a ministry, disability ministry, a great way to connect with your families. You can do sermons, of course. You can do behind rehearsals, behind the scenes. You can do speak into community issues. You can do announcements. So there's so many uses of versatility with Facebook Live as well.
One thing I want to throw in on this, especially as we're going back to in person, we're not able to get all of our families back. This is a great way to have a hybrid ministry.
Absolutely.
You can use Facebook Live to welcome the families who are still at home. You can have the Facebook Live in the classroom, let them feel like they're a part of it. So that's just a great environment that you can do. All right. Let me see there. Instagram stories.
Instagram stories is another one. Instagram stories are what you put up on Instagram. If you go to Instagram, you see those little icons on the top. Now Facebook has them as well, the stories as well. So you can put on there, and it's a slideshow format, very much the same as Snapchat. It will disappear. You can put photos and videos, and it will disappear after 24 hours. You can get very creative with it. You can write on it. You can put stickers. It has all of those features at the top, but they're great to doing like video teasers or a recap. You can do an invitation to a special event that you're having. You could even do like a call out, just what Doc was saying, even just a call out to the families, like saying, hey, we were going to have Sunday school, and we just want to make sure that you're there. Even if you can't be there in person, we invite you to come out and watch us, on Instagram or Facebook. So it's just a great way to kind of connect very quickly and sending out those short stories out to your audience.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. And then Instagram TV, that's a new one for me. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, Instagram TV is came out like about a year ago or so. Instagram started when people started really wanting to do a lot more longer videos, because when Instagram came out, it was only 1 minute videos and that's it. But people wanted to create, especially the content creators wanted to create longer videos. They wanted to do series, they wanted to do episodes. So this was Instagram's answer to that. And that was doing Instagram TV. So now when you want to do a longer video on Instagram, it will still show up on your profile, but the first minute of it will show up and the rest of it will be shown on your Instagram TV channel. Everybody will have an Instagram TV channel. It goes up to 10 minutes, but for those who have been on Instagram longer, now those content creators have up to an hour now
Oh, wow.
to have a video. So there are many ministries who actually have a complete sermon on Instagram TV. You will find many churches are actually broadcasting their sermon, the portion that is their sermon or portion of their event that is up to an hour's worth. They're broadcasting it on Instagram TV. So you can do sermon previews, recaps. You can do a monthly series if you're going to be doing with your special needs ministry, if you're going to be doing a new series with the children, or if you want to be talking about someone who's coming on board and explain a little bit more about their background. Instagram TV is great for that because it stays on Instagram TV and you can categorize it and it will stay there. You can share it to other platforms. So this is a great tool as well. Another place to, also connect with people, because for those that do not go, like we talked about, for those who do not go on Facebook, this is where they're going to be getting the content at. So you want to make sure that you're putting content for those that are just on Instagram as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. All right. So now let's get into some of the meat of this. How do we actually create content,
Yes.
For it?
Yeah. So content is something that I know a lot of people struggle. They're like, I want to make something, it's a little bit different than what you personally do for yourself versus when you're doing it for a ministry, because you want to create things that are going to be engaging, that are going to connect, they're going to encourage your audience, and also promote whatever's happening locally or within your own church. So you want to create content that is visually engaging. So things that are pictures, videos, testimonies, lifestyle pictures, Bible verses, live videos, all of those things are engaging people. Think about when you're scrolling through your feed, when you're looking at it, if it's engaging you, something that catches your attention, that's the kind of content that you want on your feed. So what normally catches your attention? And, you might say, oh, it's kittens. I love kittens. Well, you know what? Kittens are cute, and you can put kittens on your ministry Facebook page as well, because you want to create content that is going to be engaging, yes, encouraging, yes, ministry content, but what we call lifestyle posts, things that are about life, things that are true to our lives. I mean, it's great to see when you think about someone just I put kittens and dogs on IG all the time. See?
Yeah, that's good old Bronwyn. Of course he does.
Of course. So of course, Ron, you do. And see, that's great. People feel engaged when they see something that is a connection to them. When they see pictures of people, if you are in for example, a multicultural church, you want to show representation of that. When you have children of different abilities in your church, you want to showcase that in your social media. You want families to see that your church and your ministry is just like them, that they are, when they see your ministry, that they feel represented there. So you want to have information on there that is just about life in general, even recipes, things that, some things that we talk about a lot is food. That is like, everybody loves food, everybody needs food, but some things for special needs parents. I mean, it's tough sometimes when you're trying to meal plan. Meal plan is something that you think like, okay, yeah, everybody's got to do it. But it's a little bit, really requires a lot more when you're talking about a special needs family, because you've got food aversions with one child, you got the picky eater over here, and that's something that is a commonality with many special needs families. So on your ministry page, you could put on, hey, here's some of the top recipes we got in our own church of kids, what kids like to eat. There's so many opportunities to create engaging topics that are kind of like conversational pieces for the people that are seeing them and for the person that is posting up there on behalf of the church. So you want to have things that people will look at and think, hey, I want to comment on that. I want to share that. I want to download that. That's what you're thinking of when you're posting that, things that are going to engage their attention and also connect them with your ministry.
And I'll just add on there too. It's also okay to share feel good stories
Yes.
outside too.
Yes.
If especially when you're dealing with disability ministry, if you find an uplifting story of how an individual with special needs did something, like a few months ago, we had that young man who was the first individual with disabilities who completed an Ironman.
Man, and
Oh,
so,
what
yeah.
an awesome story that was. I was honored to be able to post that. We posted that on our all of our pages, and a lot of people share that, and that's an uplifting story. Well, it has
Yes.
nothing to do with us. We want to
We
drive
want,
people, we want to drive people to our page and to our
right.
sites. And so the more you can have on there to help them be coming back, the better off
Yes.
with that. So, all
And
right.
if you look at the pages that you probably frequent on your own, if you look at them, especially if they're things that are sales related, they're not always a commercial for that company. A lot
Right.
of them are those feel good stories. They're recipes. They're even things about the weather. They're about community events. They're just life, posts. That's what we call lifestyle posts. So that's what you want to also have on your own ministry pages. And this digital landscape and community perception is just talking more about that, kind of what your post should be looking at. If you look at these posts already without even knowing anything about who these churches are, whatever, you can already tell this church has a multicultural community. They have a multicultural members. They do baptism in this church. In this church, there's someone who was obviously going through a situation in their relationship and God restored their marriage. There's young people in that church. This pastor says, ask me anything. Without even knowing who they are, you can just visually see already a little bit about the church. And that's what you want when you look at this. You want to see that when they look at just quickly glancing, because people do, scroll through and look at it, but you want to when you look at it, you can say, hey, I know a little bit something about this church because it's being represented. Who they are is being represented through digital landscape and through what they're showing on social media. So their community perception is being showed through their social media.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Some of the examples of social content. So you want to share testimonies from your church family, quote meaningful Bible verses. That's always great to do that. Those are the kind of things, and people love sharing testimonies. People love hearing that, and even sharing the hard times, because it's something when you're a special needs family, sometimes you feel quite isolated, and
Right.
you feel like I'm the only one that's going through this. No one else is going through this. No one understands what I'm going through. And when you hear a story that in the end, it can be uplifting, but even someone saying like, it was hard this week.
Right.
We had a tough week, but we made it through. We're here on Sunday and my son or daughter went through this and that. That is so encouraging and uplifting to those who are seeing that, because oftentimes what we see is, beautifulness. You see on Instagram, oh, everything is so beautiful and pink and rose gold and all of this. And guess what? Our lives are not like that. That's the truth of the matter,
Exactly.
And it gets a little dirty sometimes and it gets a little nitty gritty. And we need to have other people that are joining us in faith and saying, hey, we get that. We're praying for you. We understand that. And as a ministry, we're saying, hey, we're in your community. We're standing by you. We go through the same things as well, and you're not alone. So it's just those kind of encouragement that you can do social content that are encouraging to parents as well.
Right. And, I'd also say, example of this, it's a great way if you want to highlight a volunteer of the month. Let's build up our volunteers and encourage them and highlight them with that. Jocelyn, real quick, we got a question that came in.
Sure.
Just hit real quick. The question is, should you use more than just one social media to grow your special needs disability ministry, or is it better to focus on just one? For example, I use Facebook for mine, but I wonder if I should be on more than just Facebook.
Yeah. So my answer usually to that is, it depends on audience and your congregation, who you're trying to reach. So if right now you're on Facebook, which is wonderful, and you are actively involved in Facebook, and I'm assuming that you are updating it regularly and things like that, if you're able to do the same on Instagram or Twitter, because you just want to choose one or the other that you're able to do. I don't like people, I don't want people to feel like, okay, I have to be on all of them, but then you really can only be on Facebook, and then Instagram, it never gets updated, Right. So if you really only have the time and most of your engagement with your parents is really on Facebook, then stay on Facebook. That's okay, because you know who your audience is. You know who your community is, and that's where your community is at. That's where your community is responding and communicating with you. Then you stay right there. But if you want to, if you're seeing already if you're seeing that people are on Instagram, that there are families that there are other families that you want to engage with, that your community is doing things and showcasing things on Instagram, and you want to also connect with them as well, and you also want to grow in your ministry more and also connect with other families in the area, then yes, set up another page. But you could do it one at a time. You don't have to feel like I got to do YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everybody all at once. Do it one at a time so that you can grow and communicate with those that you're looking to do. But don't feel like you have to do everything at once. Know who your audience is. And if you want to connect with them, and that's part of your strategy to grow more into another social media platform, then do that as well.
Yeah. And then, one other thing I'll throw in real quick, while we're seeing these social media posts, someone may be saying, well, I'd love to have posts like this, but I don't have access to, or, graphic designer to do it. There's wonderful programs out there like Canva and other things.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that right now.
So simple. So
Yeah.
you want to? I don't know. Do I need to jump another slide? Maybe
we could go to those slides. We can. Yeah, we could go right into those slides.
All right. Let's see.
These are all examples of social media content.
All examples that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And everything. And there's some sermon inspired. Animated ones. So
outreach
ways you can do outreach and promote. All right, are we here? Let's see.
So we go. There's another couple of slides that go into creating,
just kind of working with weekends and how you can share.
Yeah.
All right.
This is just even some technology that you can use. Of course, you can just use your phone, but there's some which is just great enough, just your phone. Yeah, but these are some other ones as well.
Most phones today are so good, it can handle everything.
Yeah. So here are some free social, media tools that you can use. These are just ones that you can just download. If you want to create like words, if you want to put like script on the videos or your pictures. So there's like words. These are apps that you can just go on Google or iTunes, and these are free. So WordSwag, Legend, Typorama, Memotic, all of these flipograms, these are all free social media content apps that you can create some of those social media pictures that we're talking about, and they already have stock images in them. So that's what I like about them, so that you don't have to like, well, now how do I get a nice, I need a stock image and where I got to go find them. A lot of them already come with stock images already in their apps.
Yeah. And we got another question that came in too. We'll go ahead and jump on here. And it's a great question. Does your social needs ministry have its own page, or do you have the church's main ministry page? I think it depends on each church, but
yeah, it totally depends on each church, what is allowed in each church. Each church is different. They have their own rules and regulations about that. If it is if you're asking my opinion is I would recommend for your disability ministry to have its own pages. In my church, we have our own Facebook page and social media pages for our disability ministry, because we have a private group for the parents as well, because we want to connect with them, and we want to be able to share information with them. And if there's a need that arises, that is something that we do not want to obviously have on a public page, we want to be able to connect them. That's one thing that is can be greatly utilized. And I know a lot of the churches and disability ministries are already doing that. And that is groups. private Facebook groups that you can use, especially for disability ministry, that you can connect with your parents and connect with them there one-on-one. They can share their needs. You can keep them abreast with any updates and things that are going on in the community. So we have a public page that we have all of those kind of contents about updates and lifestyle postings. And then we also have a group page where we talk one-on-one with the parents and they can share any needs and things like that with us. But if you're, from my opinion, I always say, yes, I would recommend having a separate disability page for social media ministries.
Yeah, and that's what we did when I was on staff, and we were blessed with that. And part of the reason that I said, we want to get our word out and quickly, and so we were able to do that. There are many churches that you can't, and that's fine. So you just do what you can do.
Right.
Someone else also just shared, and this is a great example of how you can use your social media. Their senior pastor has a 1-minute daily video, and he has his own hashtag, and they post it on Facebook and Instagram, every day with that. So
yes,
easy things that you can do. You can even do that for your own ministry. So
yes, absolutely.
A lot of great examples.
And hashtags are really great because hashtags are searchable. That's something that, was only searchable, on Google or, on certain social media platforms, but now hashtags are searchable everywhere. So
Right.
if you want to have, with SOAR, come SOAR with us, you click that and you see it, it comes out all the posts wherever they've posted that at. So if you want to also have that, you can share that with your families so that they know if they are Instagram or Facebook, if they even just put it in Google, the hashtag that belongs customized with your disability ministry, they can find all the content and announcements as long as you're posting that hashtag with each and every one of your postings.
Right. So here are some free social media content with dealing with pictures and videos that you can do. And so, remember, you don't have to recreate the wheel a lot of time. There's a lot of great things out here. So
yes,
great content that you can use and is available there for you.
Yeah. So these are some of just some of the top 6 free apps that you can use to create video slideshows and pictures. I know oftentimes people love to see the videos, and video is a way that is one of the top ways to engage with people because video attracts anyone. As you're scrolling through the feed, a video will stop. Oftentimes will stop you from scrolling. You want to see what's on there. So Mosho, Quick, Diptych, these are all apps that are free and that you Boomerang and Amito, Magisto, these are all apps that are free that you can put in pictures. You can even do minis. So if you take pictures, for example, on Sunday of a craft that the kids did, you can put this into a quick slideshow and put it up on your ministry pages. You can even send this out as an email to the families. One of the things that we have heard of great response is that the parents absolutely love to see the kids doing things, even if it's just in a picture, even if it's just, they're on a Sunday. They love that because when you think about it, when they're often during the week at school, they don't get that kind of feedback, obviously, from being at school or their therapist or wherever they're at. So they love being able to see their kids having fun, learning in a fun setting, or they were doing something. And it's just great for the parents. So we get a lot of great feedback from parents just loving to see their kids in these kind of situations. So these are just kind of great ways you can do all, as you can see, and it's so easy because I know a lot of people are like, well, hold on, I'm not a graphic designer. These apps do it for you. That's why I recommend them, because they do it for you. You just put in your pictures that you take from your phone, you just upload them into these apps and they will create the slideshow for you. So they will put the fancy lighting on it and the little sprinkles and all that stuff, and you can choose a different style that you want, and it'll come out a really pretty slideshow and something that you can put on your social media pages or email to your parents or text it to them. Yeah,
it's so easy. A caveman can do it when you use these. So don't forget that.
And these are to capture. Video Shop and InShot are a great way to capture video. If you have video that you've already taken, or if you're taking it live, like you're actually recording the video at service or at your church, you can do InShot and Video Shop to record it. Or if you've already recorded it, you can use it to edit it. You know, editing video, a lot of people have a hard time with it, but this makes it very easy because it's just kind of like a click and drag the part that you don't want, you want to remove, you want to trim, and that's about it. You can add text on it, you can add music, and they have already a library of music. So there's a lot of things that you can do that are fairly quick and are fairly simple to use that will make you to have a nice graphic video.
And here's just a couple more:
Mm-hmm.
Viva Video and Adobe Spark. So many different things that are out there that you can use.
Yeah, and I always say, you know, everybody likes to laugh. Everybody likes to laugh. Everybody, Friday funnies are always great. And this is just a great way. This is just a simple life where we talk about lifestyle content, simple things, that you can do to put on your pages. These are some of the apps where you can make memes of. Memes are, of course, all over the place. And, if you ask your kids, they know what a meme is. So these are just ways that you can kind of create those GIFs or memes and that you can have fun with your page on them. Text overlay is what you see here. That is what is the text that is overlay on the pictures. And these are the apps that you can find those at as well. And that's very simple because the pictures, a lot of them are stock photos, or if they're actual photos that you have, you can actually put text lay on them from using one of those apps. And they have all the different fonts, and you just write it on there and it'll save it right onto your phone. Canva, of course, that is like the church's best friends now for those who are creating content. Canva, PicMonkey, Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom, these are all great just resources for you to create. On Canva, you can create anything. When I'm talking about like Facebook, all types of different social media covers for your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they already have the templates. So if you're thinking like, I don't even know the size of a Facebook post, don't worry about it, because Canva has it already set out, and you can just use one of their stock photos or use one of your own photos as well. Yeah. Canva is really great. And they have also, if you are a nonprofit, that you can get it for free. You just submit your information for your nonprofit, and you can get nonprofit status with Canva for free for the professional membership fee.
Which is wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and then here's an important thing. Create a social media posting schedule.
Yes.
Something that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah. People think like, okay, well, we already talked about like the days that are, kind of better to post, but it's great to have a schedule, especially if you have volunteers or if it's just a one-man shop who's doing everything, to kind of have the times that that are going to work. So if you already looked at your insights and you already saw the days that work and the times that your congregation or your followers are online, then you can create already with the scheduler that we talked about. You can create, all right, on Monday morning, we already know at 10:30, a lot of our followers are online. So let's go ahead and create a picture and post it out there, schedule that in the scheduler, and it'll go out to all of our social media platforms all at once. And you can create that already for the week, so that you could do that for the whole entire week, so that you don't have to be every day posting and have that already set each day.
Right.
And, social media strategy is something that, we talk about a lot, and it's just kind of having the goals, and those goals are knowing, it all comes down to right back to the basic, knowing who your audience is, knowing who your congregation is, and then you're able to create the content that is going to be effective for them. So you want to have social media. It does take time. We're not going to say that it doesn't take time. It does take some time, but once you know who your content is, then you can actually create engagement. You can schedule things. You can have it a plan already that is going to be something that's going to be useful for your audience. So if you know that you have families that are going to be online, and they're usually online at night, then you can schedule all your content to be at night. Another church, it might be, hey, most of our people are on an afternoon. Well, now it's the afternoon, and that's when you schedule your content. But knowing who you are, knowing who your audience is really the basis of how you're going to start your social media strategy. And you want to make sure that you have branding consistency. When I say branding consistency, like Doc said. You want to make sure that you have a watermark on there. You want to make sure that you have the logos. Even if you look at Doc's screen there, it's SOAR. We always know when we see the green, that's going to be SOAR. That's already, it's just brand recognition that comes into your mind. With me, it's the purple, because I'm a girl, and so you see that in the background. But it's having that branding consistency that when someone sees that logo, they know, oh, it belongs to this organization. So you want to make sure if you have a hashtag that is part of it, like with SOAR, come SOAR with us. That as soon as you see that hashtag, even before you saw the logo, that belongs to SOAR. It's having that branding consistency every time you post that will make people know, okay, that belongs to that organization. And when people are looking for your organization, they will find it either through your hashtag, through your logo, because you've been consistent with that branding and cross-pollination, which is meaning what we've talked about, which is posting on different platforms, using one scheduler to post it across the different social media platforms.
Yeah. One other thing, I'll just love all this. This has just been fantastic. And we're getting a lot of people are agreeing with that. So thank you here. One other thing, especially when you're dealing with Twitter, where you've got limited characters, and let's say you want to, put in a site for registration, you can shorten all your
Links.
registration and links by using other sites that are out there like Bitly and many others that are out there. That's BITLY. And they're free, and you just put it in, it shortens it, and all of a sudden you just have a third of the number of characters.
Yes.
But it still allows you to send your people to where you're at. So don't think you can't put in links to things, but use all the different media. And you'd be amazed how often then when you're using the other media, things get shared. They get liked and they get shared. And here's one other thing I'll just tag in too. When you do an event, and we kind of talked about it, but if you really want to grow a ministry, and this is what I did with SOAR, Jocelyn, we would do one of our big events, like one of our respite. I would then go get all of our best pictures. We would put our logo on them, and then we would load them all up on Facebook and create an album for it.
Yes.
And then afterwards, I would go through and I would tag every single person that I could. If I knew the parent, if I knew the child, if I knew the volunteer, I tagged them. Everyone told me, why on earth are you doing that? That's taking a lot of time. Well, guess what happened? Every time I tag them, it ends up on their
page.
And all of a sudden we had more people seeing. So in a matter of a day, I went from having, instead of 500 people seeing it, I all of a sudden had 250,000 plus people seeing our pictures and seeing what we were doing. And guess what happened? People then start contacting us and going, what was that?
What was that? Right.
I want to be a part of that. Yep. Or I've got a child, I want to help with that. Or I want to serve, I want to be a part of that.
Yes.
And so that is how we grew so quick through social media. So even though it took a little bit of time, oh my gosh, it paid off so much. So don't forget amazing things that you can do like that.
That is so good. I love that you said that tagging, because tagging works. Tagging works. And, if you're doing something as well, you can also tag your local county governments as well. So if you're doing something that's for the community, don't forget to also let them know, one, and also tag them when you've done it as well, so they can see as well what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So, we had the SMART goals there. And I think that's so important for us, just touch on that, again, a little bit more. You said it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, and then it's time bound.
Yes.
And I think whenever we post something, we need to keep that in mind when we're doing it, and it's okay to put out a reminder, save the date type of thing, but we don't need to start promoting something 6 months ahead of schedule if you're not ready to really be yet. So know what you're talking about, know what you're pushing about, but more importantly, know what your families are wanting to hear. That's just so vital to know.
And you can do a quick little survey, use a Survey Monkey, all those play, and do a survey from your families to hear what they're looking for. What do they want to hear from you? What do they want to see on your pages as well? That will give you an insight onto what kind of content to create and share on your ministry pages.
Yeah. So we got just a couple more questions. We're coming up on the top of the hour here. One question was, do you have closed captioning?
Yes. So on closed captioning on your videos, I always say yes to that. Facebook will automatically do the auto-generated. Instagram is starting to do that as well. But if you're able to do that, YouTube will automatically do it. So you already have places like YouTube and Facebook that will auto-generate it. Instagram is starting to do that. But if you're doing it in different languages and you're able to, I would recommend yes. If you have some of your audience, for example, is Spanish speaking, you can choose on Facebook to do Spanish as well, so that they can also, at least be able to understand or read the video that you have placed. So I always say yes for closed captioning as well, and for those that are also hearing impaired and those kind of situations. So yes.
Yep. Another one, just kind of comment on here real quick, but someone shared how they've got a Facebook page. And, it's also open up, and some members start posting some things about politics, and that throw people off. So, reminder, whenever you're doing this and talking through this, you need to, have things that are just going to be related to your ministry.
Right.
Don't be, pulling in politics or anything else.
Yeah, that's not,
because
not
you're
the
going to lose
platform.
people, and they're going to leave you. And that's the last thing that you want.
Yeah, that's not the platform for those kind of, situations. You want to stick it to lifestyle and ministry postings. You want things that are encouragement. At the end of the day, things that are encouragement, things that are going to be pouring into the life of your constituents, not things that are going to be causing divisiveness. So definitely stick away from that. And also, you want to remember that when you are posting, and I always say that to even the younger ones, especially, remember, it stays there for life. So, remember that whatever you post can always be found and will be there forever. So, and it will be archived in the Library of Congress like the tweets are on Twitter. So just keep that in mind.
Even if you delete it,
it's there. It can be found.
Yeah. All right. And last one, we're coming up on the top of the hour. Just a quick question. And this one I'm not familiar with. What about Facebook Watch?
So Facebook Watch is where you can see videos. So like there's a lot of series on Facebook now that people are doing. So that's where Facebook Watch is. So yes, absolutely use Facebook Watch. You can create series. Like for example, in my church, you could see our sermon videos on Facebook Watch. So every page actually has access to a Facebook Watch because it's just a different way and a different device and how to portal to how to see your Facebook videos. So I would definitely say use Facebook Watch. And also, if you're going to be doing a sermon series or something, just categorize it with the hashtag so your families and those who are watching can find it easily.
Great. Well, this has been amazing. We could go on quite a bit longer. First, I want to thank you. Anyone who's watching this, if you're interested in having this document that we've gone over today, please email me and I'll share that with you and be able to get that out. You can email us at info@soarspecialneeds.org. Again, that's info@SOAR, SOAR specialneeds.org. And we'll get that information out to you. A couple of housekeeping things real quick. Want to and make sure you come back next week for our next Talk with Doc. We are going to have another great talk for ministry leaders. And our talk next week is marriage, how the church can better support families with needs. And Dr. Stephanie Holmes will be coming and talking about that. So it's going to be a great way to see how we can support our families and their marriage. So make sure you get on and be a part of that. Again, we love having everyone out there. We'd encourage you to partner with us in prayer, partner with us in many different ways. If you'd like to assist us in helping keep these going, you can join us financially and go to soarspecialneeds.org/donate and partner there as well. But Jocelyn, thank you. We're coming up on the top. Any parting words you'd like to share with us as we end this discussion?
Absolutely. Just remember that you can do this, social media, you can do this for your ministry, you could do this for your families. Just want to just remind you that all content now is social. You can use what you have. You don't have to go out and get a whole bunch of graphic designers. You yourself can do this. So I just want to encourage you to continue to do what you're doing. You're already touching and encouraging your families, and this will just be another way that you're going to be pouring into the lives of your family. So I'm praying for each of you as you continue to grow your ministries.
Awesome. Well, Jocelyn, thank you so much. Again, everyone out there, please use social media. It's there, it's free. Great
Yes.
way to grow your ministry. Talk
Mhm.
with your senior leadership. See how
Mhm.
you can use it if you don't already have it. But there's so many great things. In the meantime, use your personal social media
Yes.
to do it. So there's so many
Yeah.
different ways you can do it. But do something. Let's reach our families. Let's minister
Yes.
to our families. And this is a great way to help us not feel like we're so far apart. We can help create community with our
Mhm.
families. And that's what's so desperately needed right now.
Yes.
So, Jocelyn, again, thank you so much for being with us
Absolutely.
today and honoring me by being on Talk with Doc. And look forward to having you back here in the future.
Thank
We've got
you.
another talk we'll be doing with you here in the near
Yeah.
future. And so looking forward to that too. But thank you. Have a great day. And
Thank you,
everyone else
buddy.
out there, God bless you.
God bless you
And,
all.
come soar with us. Would love you.
Thank you. Amen.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.